I could stand and look at things like that all day long. Right, what are we going to say? Destination number 3, Felixstowe, which is well known for that kind of thing. And I'm just walking on this path, so I've just been in the Viewpoint Cafe, which is just there, and this green building I've never seen before is a kiosk. It's obviously there all the time, but I've never noticed it. But that's open, the kiosk is open, the cafe is open, the cafe is rammed. But absolutely brilliant. Cannot recommend it highly enough. The food is lovely. I'm not one of those people who videos himself having lunch, so you take my word for it, but it was gorgeous and the service was swift. I've never seen the port so quiet. There is a website that tells you when the ships are coming in and what activity there will be. There is one ship arriving today at 8 o'clock tonight. I'm not hanging around for that. So it's incredibly quiet today. Really, really quiet. There are a couple of MSC ships over there which look incredibly heavily laden, and there's a strange kind of pink ship just hiding there. We might get a better view of it in a moment. There's a lookout over there. And this, we might go in here. It depends how I feel. It's 11:45 and it's been a long day. That is Landguard Fort. So like I say, I might go in there. I've wanted to go in there for a while. We'll see how I feel, how tired I am. I don't know if you can see, it's a sizable thing. There are people just up there looking through their binoculars at the boats. And it comes all the way out. The land carries on much, much further down there, and we'll go all the way around. I'm going to walk all the way around. This will be Pier number 4. So we had 2 in Lowestoft, we had the Southwold Pier, and then we're going to finish with the pier in Felixstowe, which is a bit of a letdown, if I'm honest, just to build up the anticipation. It fits a number of my categories, my criteria. It goes into the sea, it's wood. Unfortunately, and I think there is a picture online, I'll try and put it up now. It looks as though it suffered an accident at some point in the past and they rebuilt it, but you cannot access any of the bit of the pier that I'm particularly interested in. I think it's largely now a collection of eateries, chip shop, bar, that kind of thing, just on the very first bit overlooking the beach. So it's nice, but it doesn't fit the bill for what I'm looking for. Now then, big pink ship. Never seen big pink ship before. I shall try and take a photo because we're not going to get very close up with this, but we're getting a much better view. We're just walking down to the lookout. This, I believe, is just strangely called the White Tower or the Felixstowe Tower. Looks like it's radar for the port. Probably helps with communication in the port. But I don't know. And I can't really pretend to care other than the fact that it's there and it's quite large and you know where you are when you can see it. We're into the remote part of this walk. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk from the port over there, and then I'm going to walk around the headland up to the pier and back again. I keep doing Wayne's World close-ups, don't I? Sorry. So anyway, this time I thought we'll start at the port, and then we've got Harwich, which one day I will go to. Now there is a ferry, amazingly, and the ferry comes up on the beach and then it goes off sort of down that way. How they negotiate it when this is sort of awash with massive ships, I do not know, but I've just seen him go over to Harwich, sort of over there. So that's for another day. Fortifications here, obviously this used to be quite an important, well it obviously still is, and as you drive in, you come down the A14 and the A14 basically ends in Felixstowe, and there's a big sign across the road that says, "Welcome to Felixstowe Port, welcome to Britain's port, I think it says. So it's obviously massively important, but yeah, defence is there. Now, I don't believe they are part of the fort because they look World War II-ish. And we've got them going all the way around. I wanted to come here first thing and see the sunrise, but as we saw, I knew the weather wasn't going to be that great. So I thought, blow it, we'll come here later on. And then I discovered that there are actually no ships whatsoever. And it's the dullest day to come to Felixstowe. Obviously, I've got no idea what this is. It looks to me as though it's some kind of jetty, some kind of... Did they moor here? Did they launch from here? Is it just a pier? I can't believe that it would be anything other than functional. Obviously now, derelict. I don't suppose for 1 minute it will come out, but there is a small city. I wonder if that's the ship that will be coming in at 8 o'clock. It's kind of, it doesn't seem to be moving. Enormous boat. Absolutely enormous boat. I do love shots like that. Kind of reminds me of Inception. I love the symmetry of it. I could stand and look at things like that all day long, which wouldn't make for a very interesting video. Size of those cranes. So you're off up the other end of Felixstowe, and all you can see when you look back down south are those cranes just towering over everything. Again, I don't think this will do it any kind of justice. If you're interested in shipping or whatever, and clearly a lot of people are, the car park was packed, the cafe was packed, it's something to behold, it really is. And when there is a ship in and they're taking the containers off and putting new containers on, and you think, how do they know what's in each of those containers? How do they know? And they do it at such a rate. They're picking these containers up, which are enormous lorries, and they're picking them up like they're matchboxes, and they're moving them around. And you think, how do they know what's in there? How do they know what they're doing? I'm always very aware of what's interesting to me might not come across as being very interesting on the video. But I was just thinking I could just video this, just walking along the beach with the sound of the waves and the sun. You obviously can't feel, but there's a slight breeze, but nothing major. It's cool enough not to be a bother. I could stick an hour of this on. You might be bored out of your minds, but this is heaven to me. This is absolute perfection. There are various different ways now. If I hold that up, you can see there's a path just up there, goes along the top of that. I've never actually done this bit before, so I am hoping against hope that we can get up that set of stairs and then we can make our way up there, because at some point you have to head ever so slightly inland. There's no way through. I thought I'd run the gauntlet. I walked past those stairs that I just mentioned, and this is where we are. So I'm hoping that we can cut in here, and then I think we just have to, as I say, it looks as though you can walk all the way up there, but you just can't. I can't remember why. So I'm going to cut in here. And then, as I say, you've got a choice. And again, there's the cranes, ever present. And you can head up there, and there's a nice path going along there. Or you can stay down here, and I think you can get out at the end. And once again, there are the containers, there are the cranes. And there's the start of Felixstowe. So we'll just wander down here. It turns into a road. We have to walk along the road for 200 yards or so, and then we can get back on the seafront. And then this is where we head back. I say barely 200 yards, but I realised it's because of a caravan park, and you can't get around the caravan park. And then, like all with seaside towns, there's a whole row of beach huts and we're back on the water now. Strange, I think they've got the floodgate up, so I can't get back in. There's that boat. So there's the front. I've stayed off the front. I've stayed back here. It was because of that. There is a Martello Tower, and I think there's a sign up. It's obviously been repurposed for something. National Coast Watch, it says at the top. Not necessarily the Coast Guard, but the Coast Watch. Lots of people doing work, ready for the summer by the look of it. And now we're getting properly into Felixstowe, the seaside resort. There we go. I'll try and leave that on for you for a moment. And this is when you realise that I was the only person in the world who didn't know that Felixstowe was a seaside resort. We've got these beautiful beach huts. I mean, they all look fairly locked up. But look at the people. And this is April the, what did I say, 25th? Imagine this in July. There's a massive kind of area with chip shops and all that, cafes and that kind of thing. And that's what I love about Felixstowe. There's a toilet every 10 yards. Absolutely brilliant. We've got that building over there, which is some kind of amusement centre, amusement arcades. I think there are rides in there, chip shops, as I say, cafes and the like. So there's some kind of entertainment thing at the back. So this is Felixstowe Pier. We're going to stand underneath for a moment. But as I was saying, it doesn't quite meet what I need it to. It should do, but I think all of this is new. But I think everything here is new, sort of down to maybe this point here, all had to be rebuilt. I'm guessing to sort of that point there, and all of that is the old original pier, but you're not allowed on it. And then looking back down, you can see the big wheel, and over there is sort of Harwich. There's my inception shot. I should try not to get wet. So you can see where you can go, it's sort of there, and all of that is off limits, unless you're a seagull, which is such a shame. And it is lovely, but it's not what I want. So that's pier number 4, so that goes off towards Aldborough, which is where we've been before. We've got amusements in there, and like I say, that goes off towards us about another 2, maybe 3 miles. So it's about a 5 or 6 mile walk up to the estuary and the ferry. Do not jump off the pier, you will die. And there's a pier for seagulls, and you can see where you can get to. So it's a near miss. It's such a shame that they can't let us walk on that, but I guess it's in such a state of disrepair. So I always go on about how I love quiet places, and I always try and go where people are not. And then I said I love Felixstowe. And then Felixstowe today was rammed. So if Felixstowe is rammed, why do I like it so much? I don't know is the honest answer. But I do. It's a good, honest seaside town, and it's got lots of what you want. It's got arcades, it's got places to eat, chip shops galore. And as I say, it just has everything that you want. It's a good, honest, old-fashioned seaside town. And it's incredibly popular. And I love it. Strange. We're back. Not the prettiest of foregrounds, but you can see the containers and the cranes. But I was particularly interested in the sky. I just think that looks fantastic. I think that looks brilliant. And then we're back on the nature reserve. So I think this is where we came over earlier on, when we were coming off the open area there. I'm going to go up the top now, get a much better view of everything. So again, the sheer scale of this place beggars belief, it really does. And again, do not be fooled, I've got my jumper on and I am chilly. But what a gorgeous day. And there's all this open space. There's the caravan park. Big wheel somewhere over there. Absolutely brilliant. And that's the end of the video. That's the end of my day. And I say day, I left home at 5:30 to get to Lowestoft. That was in part 1 of this video. 2 piers in Lowestoft, 1 in Southwold, and then the one in Felixstowe. Thank you for watching. I always appreciate it. I absolutely loved this day. I say I left at 5:30. I was home by 3, completely shattered, but I had such a fantastic time. The weather was kind. My next video will be about our holiday in Wales. I'll see you then.